I think the biggest takeaway here was probably that Jensen basically saying that there still needs to be trillions of dollars more build out for this AI infrastructure to continue to take off. Now, companies ranging from Google to Microsoft to XAI to, OpenAI, $1.4 trillion. Hello. I don't know how, hey, you figure out how you're going to pay your bills, I'll figure out how I'm going to pay mine. But, he's talking about how all these companies need to continue to kind of build out as much as they can. And it's not just the chips, right? It's the servers that the chips go into. It's the plumbing that goes into all of this, electrical. It's the actual buildings themselves. It's the software. It's the models. All of this is part of that AI infrastructure that Jensen Huang's talking about. So it's not just his chips where we talk about those trillions of dollars, but pretty sure a good chunk will go to those chips. They also talked about jobs, and this has been a big discussion at Davos this year, going over whether jobs will be negatively impacted, positively impacted. Jensen's take was, look, the idea that radiologists would be losing their jobs in 10 years, a few years ago, basically is proven to be not true, that they use AI now as kind of a way to augment what radiologists do and improve detection rates for certain conditions. And so that was his take. But BlackRock CEO Larry Fink basically said, but we're also still seeing substitutions, aka layoffs, when it comes to certain jobs, whether those are analysts at financial institutions or law firms. So there's this ongoing back and forth. I don't think anybody truly knows what's going to happen with jobs right now when it comes to AI. We are seeing some movement. We are seeing some people say that they're hiring more with AI. Some people saying that they're causing layoffs. And one of the final things that I think that they kind of discussed was just the general sense of where AI is at this moment, and Jensen kind of diving into how he sees kind of the future of this build out, as well as where that'll take Nvidia in the future.
Dan, one thing you hear about AI and jobs, sometimes I've heard people say this, get your take on it. They'll say, AI won't take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI tools, they could take your job. What do you think of that?
I think that's probably a smart way to think about it, only because, look, if you were given this computer, right, 20 years ago and someone said, use it, you'd probably say, what? I think it's along those lines, right? Like it's a tool. And that's, I think, the way people should really start to think of AI rather than this like kind of monolithic technology that's, coming to stomp all over us. Is it going to impact jobs? Absolutely. Will some people lose their jobs? No doubt. Nobody can tell you one way or the other whether it's definitely going to create jobs, definitely going to, erase all jobs. There's going to be a mix. But I think that way of thinking of it as a tool is much more akin to what the internet was. And the internet did create huge job sectors and it did destroy job sectors. But as people started to learn how to use it as a tool, it became an important economic factor. And so I think that's probably the way to think about AI. I think the way it's kind of talked about and pitched a lot is this singular mass, that's coming at you. But really, it's a tool. So think about it as like a super smart cap.
As U.S. markets recovered after President Donald Trump's remarks allayed worries about a geopolitical escalation over Greenland, Nvidia's shares rose by more than 2% on Wednesday, surpassing the market as a whole. The rally was held after Trump reversed a major concern that had shook markets and sparked a steep Sell America trade the day before, telling the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, that he would not use military action to take the Danish-controlled region. The assurance boosted technology stocks in particular and helped revive risk appetite across global equities. Trump spoke to business executives and foreign leaders on a variety of topics, including U.S. trade policy and NATO burden sharing. His remarks regarding Greenland were keenly monitored following a dramatic decline in markets earlier in the week. Trump's comments helped ease some of the risk-off stance that had dominated markets by expressly ruling out the use of military force in the pursuit of Greenland for the first time. Europe could miss the AI moment, Huang warns. High-profile remarks made by Chief Executive Jensen Huang, who spoke on stage at the World Economic Forum on Wednesday and delivered a direct message to European legislators and business executives, further bolstered Nvidia's advances. Huang portrayed robotics and artificial intelligence as a historic opportunity for Europe rather than a threat to its manufacturing base, while speaking with Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. He cautioned that if the region doesn't act swiftly, it could lose its best opportunity to become globally relevant in the upcoming technology cycle. According to Huang, You may now combine your manufacturing and industrial skills with artificial intelligence to enter the realm of physical AI, or robotics. Huang minimized Europe's relative software deficiency, claiming that it is less significant in the new robotics-driven stage of AI deployment. He emphasized that Europe still has a very strong industrial manufacturing base globally, despite having missed the last US-led software age. Huang asserts that success in robotics, a sector that demands both sophisticated algorithms and large-scale physical manufacturing, requires the exact combination of industrial strength and AI competence. Nvidia intensifies its efforts in AI inference. Nvidia continued to indicate a strategic move toward inference, the process of using AI models to produce outputs rather than train them, alongside the market recovery and Huang's remarks in Davos. The Wall Street Journal reported on Tuesday that Nvidia has contributed $150 million to a $300 million investment round for AI startup Bastin, which is valued at $5 billion. Bastin specializes in assisting businesses with the effective deployment and management of massive AI models. The investment comes soon after Nvidia and Grok, a privately held chip startup that specializes in technology optimized for AI inference workloads, signed a licensing agreement. The agreements collectively highlight Nvidia's efforts to solidify its position outside of training chips and farther into the AI stack's inference layer. Join our investor community. Hit subscribe and like to get your daily Nvidia stock insights and tutorials delivered. According to Mizuho analysts, inference accounts for 20% to 40% of current AI workloads. As AI usage spreads across industries and applications, they anticipate that share to increase to between 60% and 80% over the course of the next 5 years. The CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, spoke with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink on Wednesday at the annual World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, about the effects of artificial intelligence and how they affect everything from the labor market to the necessity for Europe to invest in its energy supply in order to power AI systems in the future. Huang claims that the biggest infrastructure build-out in history has been sparked by the AI explosion. Even though businesses have already invested hundreds of billions of dollars on the technology, much more money needs to be spent. Huang told Fink that infrastructure needed to be developed at a cost of trillions of dollars. According to Huang, 2025 was one of the biggest VC funding years ever. Additionally, the majority of the funds were allocated to so-called AI-native businesses last year. Large sums of money are being invested in these AI-native businesses, which are in the healthcare, robotics, financial services, and other major industries worldwide. According to Huang, these investments are motivated by the fact that AI models are now efficient enough for businesses to employ them to create apps that will be utilized in a variety of industries. This application layer might be found in manufacturing, financial services, or healthcare. He continued, "In the end, economic benefit will occur in this layer on top. Some on Wall Street and elsewhere are worried that the enormous expenditures in data centers and spending on AI chips will eventually stop, having a cascading effect on the economy akin to the dot-com boom. This has led to frequent talk of an AI bubble." Huang, however, resisted the notion, claiming that the main reason people worry about an AI bubble is because the investments are so high, but the possibility is truly remarkable. Huang and Fink both emphasized that in order for nations to invest in AI infrastructure, Europe must expand its energy supply. Huang stated, "I think it's pretty certain that you have to get serious about increasing your energy supply in order to invest in the AI infrastructure layer so that you could have a rich ecosystem of artificial intelligence here in Europe." Regarding employment, Huang stated that although AI was once perceived as posing a serious threat to radiology positions, the number of radiologists has actually increased. He added that as more people seek medical care, the technology enables the professionals to spend more time with patients. However, Fink also acknowledged that AI is being used to replace some jobs, stating that although the data center business is increasing the number of employment available for electricians and plumbers, AI is replacing analysts at financial institutions and legal firms. Regarding employment, Huang stated that although AI was once perceived as posing a serious threat to radiology positions, the number of radiologists has actually increased. He added that as more people seek medical care, the technology enables the professionals to spend more time with patients. However, Fink also acknowledged that AI is being used to replace some jobs, stating that although the data center business is increasing the number of employment available for electricians and plumbers, AI is replacing analysts at financial institutions and legal firms. Nvidia's stock is still reasonably priced despite its impressive track record over the years. The business still has enormous potential ahead of it. Investors don't have to search far for a chip stock that is trading at a discount at the start of 2026. This is because one of the most attractively valued stocks is that of Nvidia, the biggest semiconductor business in the world. Its stock is trading at a forward price-to-earnings (PE) ratio of 24.5 times analyst projections for the fiscal year 2027, which ends in January 2027, and a price-to-earnings to growth (PG) ratio of less than 0.7 times, with PIGs below 1 being considered inexpensive. In the meantime, the company's revenue increased to $57 billion last quarter, a 62% increase. The fact that this was an almost tenfold rise from the $5.9 billion in revenue it generated in fiscal Q3 of 2023 is even more remarkable. Nvidia is making the most of its dominant technological position. Naturally, the company driving the present growth in artificial intelligence, AI, infrastructure is Nvidia. Because the majority of basic AI code is written on its CUDA software platform, its graphics processing units, GPUs, are the preferred processors used to train large language models, LLMs. But the business has also established a solid networking presence. Its revenue increased by a staggering 162% to $8.2 billion last quarter because to its data center networking portfolio, which is dominated by its NVDA Link interconnect solutions. Nvidia is well positioned to sustain robust sales growth going forward. Custom AI ASICs and application-specific integrated circuits are becoming more competitive, but because ASICs are hardwired for particular tasks, they lack the flexibility of GPUs, which can be reprogrammed in a rapidly changing tech environment. Additionally, Nvidia recently broadened its software moat by acquiring SkedMD, the company behind the open-source platform Slurm. Slurm assists major data center hyperscaler owners in scheduling the use of AI chips, and since it now owns SkedMD, it can guarantee that its chips are optimal for its platform. Nvidia is bolstering its products and challenging the competition. In contrast, most AI ASICs are better suited to AI inference, which is less technically demanding, with the exception of Alphabet's Tensor Processing Units, TPUs. Nevertheless, Nvidia has reached an agreement to acquire the expertise and technology from Grok, which has created a chip especially for inference. Eventually, it should integrate its chip technology into its CUDA architecture, strengthening Nvidia's leadership in inference. Given the ongoing demand for AI infrastructure, Nvidia is well positioned to maintain its position as one of the industry leaders. This is a stock to own until 2026 and beyond when you factor in a low stock price and a large moat. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.
We'll dig into some of the themes from that.
Well, there's so many big ideas, it's hard to summarize it very, shortly. But I will say that I agree with Jensen in the quote. This is the largest investment cycle of all time. We think in history, larger even than the railroad build out in the late 1800s, driven by AI. And the acceleration in AI is accelerating all of the 5 innovation platforms that we focus on, whether it be, robotics, energy storage, AI itself, autonomous mobility, multi-omics, and public blockchains. So there's a simultaneous acceleration in technology that is prompting and catalyzing the largest investment cycle of all time, and that we think is going to change the trajectory of global GDP growth. In fact, we think global GDP growth is going to be in the high single digits over the course of the latter half of this decade because of the investment dollars pushed into these technologies and because of the amazing yield you're going to get off of those investment dollars. And it's going to change people's lives. We think that disruptive innovation is going to be the majority of equity market cap by the end of the decade. And actually, non-innovation exposed stocks could moderately decline. So imagine an economic boom and a set of stocks that is compounding marvelously. And if you're in the wrong exposures, you're flat to down. So we think that people need to get on board with innovation yet post haste because of the business cycle that's going to come.
Well, we heard from Jensen Huang at Davos. He's talking about the trillions more needed for AI, jobs for everyone, plumbers, electricians, blue-collar trades as well, as this gets built out. What are you anticipating in the coming years in terms of CapEx, and what are the risks to that outlook?
Yeah, we think that AI compute itself will build up to in excess of $1 trillion in spend by 2030, and the layering on of AI space compute could meaningfully contribute more than that. One way to think about it is the world is actually starving for compute power right now. The major foundation model providers like Anthropic, xAI, and OpenAI, all of which are in our venture strategy, are having to turn down business because they're not able to provide people with the tokens that they need to get their jobs done. If you go on X, everybody's posting about how they're out of Claude credits because Claude Code is using them all and they want more, but Anthropic can't give them more because they don't have the compute data centers in order to supply them. And so we think in core AI is enough to easily justify the $1 trillion+ in investment that is to come, and humanoid robots and multi-omics and these other categories of innovation also will use that compute to good effect. So we need it to train our humanoid robots. We need it for our robo-taxis. We think the demand elasticity curve for AI compute is really stretches literally into the solar system. And so we think it's going to be a remarkable